Welcome to this webinar about any-to-any data integration to and from Google BigQuery. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Jack, and I'm with Dataddo. I'm joined by Peter Nemeth, Dataddo CEO, as well as Jobin George, Data and Analytics Staff Architect at Google Cloud. After I go over the agenda, I'll give them space for a more proper introduction. As far as agenda goes, first, we'll talk a little bit about the Dataddo and Google Cloud partnership and what it means in practice. Next, I will hand the floor to Peter, who will give an overview of the Dataddo platform, discuss some challenges that it addresses, and talk about how it operates together with Google Cloud. Then, Jobin will take the floor and do the same, essentially for Google Cloud. He'll talk about BigQuery and other Google Cloud services and how they can aid organizations in building a scalable data infrastructure. Then Peter will do a live demo of the Dataddo platform and how it can connect external services to Google Cloud. And Jobin and Peter will both discuss some real use cases and outcomes. And that will be the final thing. And then we'll, of course, do a Q&A at the end. So feel free to drop any questions in the chat, and we'll address them at the end. And after the webinar is over, later this week, you'll get an email with a recording, so no need to take notes. That is all from me. I should now give the floor to Jobin and Peter. Maybe let's start with Jobin. Could you introduce yourself in a little bit more detail?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Jack and Peter, for the opportunity. Hello, everyone. I'm Jobin George, a staff solutions architect, part of the data analytics partnership team here at Google. I work with partners like Dataddo and build joint solutions to help our customers like yourself. Excited to be here and looking forward to this conversation on enabling any-to-any data integration to and from BigQuery and a few other services from Google Cloud. Nice to be here.
Thank you, Jobin. Peter, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Hello, my name is Peter. I am the CEO and founder of Dataddo. I have been working in the industry for some time, primarily on the infrastructure side, and really excited about today and about telling you, how we work together with the Google to actually bring more value to our customers, to our mutual customers, and of course other users that are wanted to build something exciting with their data, and basically anything that is adjacent to that. But of course, as a starter, let me perhaps do the quick introduction about the partnerships between the Dataddo and Google Cloud. Essentially, what is important to mention that Dataddo is a Google or has a Google Cloud Ready designation for BigQuery, Cloud SQL, and AlloyDB. For those who are not familiar with what does Google Cloud Ready designation mean, it basically means that Dataddo and all our connectors actually went through the rigorous process from the Google engineers that basically validated our connectors for their performance, for their throughput, and of course, for the way how the data are being inserted, and of course, read it from the various services to actually ensure the highest consistency. Also, Dataddo runs itself on the Google Cloud. So if your solution, you are working on the Google Cloud and you want to stay in the single cloud environment, this is definitely what is supported by the Dataddo side. And of course, most importantly, Dataddo is also available through the Google Marketplace. So of course, this gives you the unique opportunity of having, let's say, one overarching entity from the billing standpoint. So still, Dataddo can be consumed from that. On the left-hand side, you can basically see the schema that represents our relationship with the Google. So essentially, what we focus on what can be called as a data movement part. And by that, it means that we support the various Google Cloud services, whether it's BigQuery, whether it's AlloyDB, whether it's Cloud SQL, but as well as Cloud Storage, and helping to do the data movement such as ETL, ELT, database replication, or more specifically cross-technology database replication, but as well as stuff like reverse ETL that we will be talking about later. Before I actually delve deep into the actual solution and the way how we are actually bring the value commonly to our customers, let me talk about the barriers that our customers are typically facing when it comes to working and harnessing their data. So first of all, these days we are operating in very heterogeneous environment, and by that I basically mean that business data are dispersed in the many silos, whether it's different software as a service applications, whether it's files, whether it's databases. Also, typically you need to, your stakeholders have the different needs of, working with the data. Sometimes you need a batch, sometimes you need the event stream, sometimes you need to work with the real-time replication. And this, of course, builds the overall complexity on the integration side when you want to work comprehensively with this data. At the same time, the complexity creates a heavy technical expertise barrier, meaning that supporting all these different patterns can be very complex and thus very costly. In Dataddo, we have a mantra that we call business user first and developer friendly. What does it mean? It basically means that we are trying to lowering the barriers of doing the complex data engineering workloads, whether it's doing the ETL, whether it's doing reverse ETL, whether it's doing the cross-technology database replication, and lowering the barriers so even the business user are able to operate with that, but at the same time, giving extra control that the engineers would love to do that, whether it's having the accessibility through the API, or whether it's actual configuration as a code capability. That is one of the key points on our roadmap. And last thing, according to the Gartner, one of the key points why many data analytics and of course these days AI project fails is about data quality and the consistency concerns. So of course it is important, especially these days when more and more data are actually being consumed not only by the humans but as well as by the machines. It's important to make sure that data quality, data consistency, but as well as compliance is being addressed from the very beginning. And of course, I would like to bring to the table how we are actually addressing these issues, how we are helping our mutual customers to actually get some value from their data. So I have already mentioned our business user first, developer friendly approach. This means lowering the barriers for the business users, but as well as through the various techniques, whether it's configuration as a code, whether it's having the capability of having the API access to allow engineers, to allow data people to kind of create limits what the business user can achieve. We are also very proud in our amount, portfolio, and the quality of connectors. I have also mentioned that we are supporting both ETL and the reverse ETL capabilities, although it's important to say that this not only this doesn't apply to all the connectors, but we are really working hard on the closing the gap. One thing that I would like to talk about specifically, that when we are essentially a pipelining transport service, if you want to put it like that, but we also want to address some of the problems that you might encounter at the later stages of your data value chain. So at the extraction level, we are running several important workloads, such as what we call a data harmonization. This can be extremely powerful because this allows you to automatically detect the various data types. This allows you to automatically harmonize the dates. So once the data hits your data warehouse, there is always assurance that the dates are in the ISO format, that integers are integers, floats are floats, and which extremely simplifies or effectively reduces the complexity of your data transformation workloads that you typically need to run in the data warehouse, which means that your data team, needs to do a lower engineering in terms of maintaining those heavy and typically not very productive transformations. Also, what is important to mention that at the same time as data harmonization, we also are building the data quality and compliance features into the pipelines. So again, some of the very issues about the data quality, whether it's null values, zero values, anomalistic values, after the compliance values can be catched at the pipeline level, so the data doesn't even hit the data warehouse. And of course, I have already mentioned our full integration with the Google Cloud Platform. A little bit talking about the actual workload that is being supported. So first of all, the traditional ETL, ELT, we are actually supporting both. So kind of giving you the capability of extracting and loading the data in more rover formats. So let's say still doing the harmonization, but we also have a capability to do the transformation on the fly, like joins, like merging of the table before they actually hit the data warehouse. What is important to mention with the relation to the Google Cloud, that and this is what I will be showing through our demo, we are supporting a multiple write mode. So whether it's plain inserting of the data, whether it's full replace, whether it's upserting, we also supporting the deletes. So this can kind of give you a lot of the flexibility in a way how you want to build your data movements. And last thing that is good to mention, that we have quite unique features that we call a data quality firewall, and this is something when I was mentioning our focus on the actual data quality, that at the pipeline level you can actually define a rules. So when, for instance, for a specific column, if null value, zero value, anomalistic value is being detected, you can make sure that those specific data are not being delivered to the data warehouse. Then, of course, the second important workload for us, something what we call reverse ETL. Reverse ETL is typically in the case where you have some data in your data warehouse. Typically, you have a list of your customers. You compute some of the values in your data warehouse. It could be customer scoring. It could be anything, any kind of metric. But of course, it doesn't make much sense to project those data into the dashboard and then sending them to your salespeople. You want them to actually see that specific value right in the operational scene, better anything else. So of course, in this very specific case, this is when you will be using reverse ETL. At the moment, we are actually heavily focusing on the CRM platforms and the advertising platforms. So of course, whether it's all the CRM that I have mentioned, but we also have a very strong use cases with platforms like Google Ads. So when somebody calculates the values of the conversions in their data warehouse and they want to send it back to the Google Ads to actually support and improve their data or their advertising algorithm, this is definitely that is supporting out of the box. And last thing, or last supported workload to mention, is what we call as a cross-technology database replication. And this is typically focused on the use cases when you have data in your on-prem database, whether it's MySQL, whether it's Postgres or SQL Server, and you want to keep the data perhaps in that way because it's your operational database. But it actually makes a lot of sense for you to start utilizing the data. Obviously, you don't want your data analyst to actually tap directly into the database because, let's be honest, MySQL, it's not the best way to run a data analytics workloads. but there is a Google BigQuery that you can perfectly utilize for that. So the solution here is to basically tap into your MySQL, Postgres SQL server and start, replicating the data into the BigQuery or any other technology. Of course, the beauty of this solution is that you still have the data that is that you use for your day-to-day operations, which are typically the most valuable. You can achieve a near-time replication. And at the same time, you are creating some sort of very safe space for your data analyst that doesn't affect your operational environment, your operational data, and at the same time, you are streaming the data to the actual technology that is being designed for the analytics workload.
Yeah.
And this is pretty much all from my part before the demo, and here I will pass the word to the Jobin.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for the great overview. Just to summarize, like I personally have been working with Dataddo since more than like one and a half year, and we collaborated on a few joint design wins, customer stories, including Google Cloud BigQuery, LODB, and Cloud SQL, as Peter mentioned. And also, like Peter mentioned that Dataddo is available on Google Cloud Marketplace as well as it runs on Google, but they're also available via Google BigQuery Partner Center, which you can find Dataddo within BigQuery console if you want to try, ever try it out. Before I dive deep into the Google section, right, I just wanted to give you a primer by adding on what Peter discussed, with respect to how challenging it is for the customers to, go behind and get things done as you want it to be. The promise of data analytics and artificial intelligence is undeniable. Organizational leaders understand that there is tremendous potential in harnessing the power of big data, machine learning, and AI to create compelling customer experiences. There is, however, a significant amount of difficulty involved in this process of becoming the data-driven, AI-centric company as everyone wanted to be, right? In fact, in a study Gartner did some time back, it was found that only 20% of the analytic insights a company gets delivers actual business outcomes. And out of that, only 10% of the companies actually derive any sort of financial benefits. There are many challenges which results in such kind of scenarios. Let us look at a few main reasons companies face these challenges. First, in the past decade, we have seen like unprecedented growth of data volume that can be captured, recorded, and stored. Think about 5 years ago, 10 years ago, how much data were you personally were dealing with within your company? May not be like anything comparable to what you have today, right? It is just not the volume of the data, but also the form and format and what kind of data you are receiving, right? It could be structured data, it could be like text files, it could be any sort of unstructured data, maybe audio files, video files, images, etc., etc., etc. Second, the ways we work with data continues to expand, right? Like there is no longer a one single way of working with the data. Companies need to leverage, SQL-based tools as well as maybe Spark, workloads, and even like machine learning as well as AI, use cases to get the actual value of data. But operationalizing AI is not easy. It requires unique skills and tools, and it's not easy for everybody to write a Spark ETL job to get the things done. Not everybody can write and deal with PySpark or coding, right, specifically. And data needs to reach everyone. An organization leader, he would recognize that employees within their organization as well as their end customers, partners, suppliers, etc., in their organization need access to the actual data. Without having that, there is not much a data centric organization can do. But for that, you need a platform which actually truly scales. This is exactly where BigQuery shines and help with our customers who are facing such kind of challenges. Google BigQuery is, Google Cloud's highly scalable enterprise data warehouse solution. It is fully managed and serverless and offers real-time insights from streaming data and has built-in machine learning and AI capabilities that has high speed in memory BI engine for fast reporting analytics, and it is designed to make data analytics, data analysts, data scientists, and data engineers more productive, and offers security out of the box with data encryption by default, in transit and at rest, which ensures customers' data is always protected. What you're looking at is actually BigQuery's architecture. It is fully managed and serverless, as I mentioned. Actually, under the hood, the storage and compute are completely decoupled, uh, and it can scale depending upon your demand, and it offers immense flexibility and cost control for your business. You don't have to keep everything running. Unlike traditional data warehousing solutions or MPP systems out there, since it is serverless, you only like whatever you consume, you only pay for that. It is like it would be really difficult for a customer to keep a system up and running when there is actually no or less workload running and you are paying for the infrastructure anyways. But for with BigQuery, that is not the case. The storage is actually, like I mentioned, decoupled from the compute, where storage is actually falling onto Colossus, and intermediate caching system, which will help customers store and consume that data directly without having to know where exactly the data is stored if it is BigQuery native storage. But also, like, there is flexibility, like you can save that file in GCS, Google Cloud storage, and then create external tables and Big Lake, and quite a few things on top of it as well. Before I move on to other technologies, I just wanted to emphasize on the accelerated growth BigQuery have seen over the past few years. Customers have continued to grow their data footprint in BigQuery. Like I mentioned, a few years ago, it was really hard to find a customer with a petabyte scale data warehouse. Now we have hundreds of customers with over a petabyte of storage just inside BigQuery. In addition to storage, the amount of query processing continues to skyrocket, right? On an average, BigQuery is processing over 110 terabytes of customer data every second. We are also seeing increased adoption of BI engine, BigQuery's low latency in-memory analytics service, with over 3 billion queries accelerated each month. And the scale at which BigQuery operates is truly amazing. I just wanted to showcase and share that with you while we talk about it. Next, we will move on to or I would like to emphasize on two database offerings from Google Cloud, Cloud SQL and AlloDB, which Dataddo actually deeply integrates with. Cloud SQL is a fully managed service from Google Cloud, which is fully compatible with MySQL, Postgres, or SQL Server. And again, like, I don't know if you have seen the announcements, but Oracle is coming soon too. These services simplifies database management and makes it easy to set up and operate, and scale, relational databases. It is one of the fastest growing service within Google Cloud, and it provides enterprise grade data protection, security governance, as well, trusted by thousands of enterprises globally. Over 90% of the top 100 GCP customers use Cloud SQL, and over 650,000 GK ports connect to Cloud SQL. It is an API-first, developer-friendly service as well that provide application-centric observability and can effectively monitor, troubleshoot, and fix any performance issues with your application as you need it to be. Cloud SQL, there are two main reasons why Cloud SQL is chosen by customers. Cloud SQL help customers innovate really fast by automating and streamlining the database management, as well as by reducing by superior security. It reduces the risk. Governance and regulatory compliances are all in place, and along with the default data protection you offer. So this accelerates the cycle. Customers will have to depend on their day-to-day operational activities, versus like they can quickly innovate and move forward, and don't have to worry about a lot of other things. Next, AlloDB for Postgres SQL. AlloDB is a fully managed Postgres compatible database service for your most demanding enterprise workload. AlloDB combines the best of Google with open source Postgres with superior performance, scale, and availability. It is optimized for enterprise Gen AI applications that need real-time, accurate responses, delivers the best-in-class performance for relational, analytical, and vector workloads for AI/ML. So when I say analytical, it also has a columnar engine which will help you with operational analytics capability, which sits on top of the database. So there are like quick, derivation of analytical things you have to do on operational data. You can use that feature. And at best of all, we support AlloDB anywhere, including on our cloud, any other cloud, or on premises, or even on your laptop if you want to do that, which enable customers to modernize and innovate wherever they want to. Also, like, in short, AlloDB is really the next generation database built for the future. And I recollect, like, Dataddo, when like AlloDB was in private preview, I reached out to Dataddo for integrating with AlloDB. They were one of the first partners who integrated and created integration connection and be part of the Google Cloud Ready AlloDB initiative. Also, Google Cloud databases have invested in AI/ML technologies for both database systems optimization, AI/ML service integration, and most of, since speech vector is supported, it opens up a lot of possibilities for our customers to explore. Our primary goal is to provide better data management capabilities through operational agility, AI/ML support natively on our databases, and native integration across Google Cloud services as well. What you are looking at here, like before I move or pass it back to Peter, I just wanted to showcase how a typical data integration architecture would look like and how complex it can get, and why would you need an enterprise grade, data integration, streamlining, pipeline solutions. There could be numerous legacy sources, as you can see, or you probably would be experiencing it, right? Numerous legacy sources from where the data should be coming into the cloud when a customer decides to go cloud native, and it could be pushing data into any of the Google services, maybe BigQuery, maybe Cloud SQL, maybe LODB, or even Cloud Spanner, depending upon what use cases you have on GCP. It could be production data coming from end user application, web application, or some sort of application you have used hosted and coming into operational database, or migrated from an existing on-prem data warehouse or database into BigQuery or any database we offer. It could be streaming data coming from different sources into Google Cloud via PubSub or Kafka, or maybe from any SaaS applications or CRM systems, marketing, sales, or customer data, etc., etc. Once the data is in Google Cloud, it still could be spread across various systems, as you can see here. Depending upon the use cases, it could be on operational database, it could be on NoSQL database, it could be on it could be in a data warehouse solution. But like, depending upon what you want to see, it is possible that customers also have AI use cases, which will bring Vertex AI as well as our Gemini into the use cases and into the mix. There could be reverse ETL use cases or analytical dashboard creation kind of use cases, which would require external tools. And this needs to be performed on top of the data which is available within these data storage solutions. Think of this scenario where you have all of these use cases in-house. And imagine, like, you have like 10, 15, or like more than that departments within your company having many of these use cases. A great effort of management has to go into the complex maintenance of integration and ETL as well as pipelining needs. And this could get really, really complex. You need to manage ingress, transformation, moving data from numerous sources internally to external sources into these Google Cloud sources, targets, or maybe from one Google Cloud service, like Peter mentioned, from a database into BigQuery for analytics, or even for like other AI use cases. How are you going to deal with each of these operational complexities? This is where an enterprise-ready data integration solution such as Dataddo play a critical role. Without such solution, it would get really tricky to manage day-to-day operations within your organization's data route. This is a really a vast topic. There is a lot to talk about it, but in the interest of time, I will pass it back to Peter for a quick demo. Peter, over to you.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Thank you very much, Jobin. It was super helpful to really understand a lot about the Google BigQuery. I must say, and of course other services, I must say that we are using Google BigQuery internally as our data warehouse. Of course, in conjunction with Dataddo, where we connect all of our business systems. And because we are heavily vested into the PLG motion, investing a lot into the marketing and basically channeling all of our business data to the BigQuery, having a couple of models there, and basically projecting the data in the Looker. So we are heavily vested in this whole data stack. So let me just do a quick overview of our platform. Of course, since we don't have too much time, I will not be going into the very depth into of the platform. But there is a free trial, so anyone who is not fully familiar with the offering can definitely test it for themselves. Also, what is important to mention that in conjunction to what I have said about our business user first, developer friendly approach, I will be showcasing our UI version of the platform, but at the same time, there is an API capability. So whatever I will be showing can be fully configured through the API. And of course, this can be used, simultaneously. So this is one of the trends that we see a lot, that, customers tend to use our platform for, some of the use cases through the UI, and then, gradually, do the automation, through the API. So for those customers or those users, those visitors that are not familiar with our platform, it essentially have a couple of main components. We call it sources, destinations, and flows. Sources are essentially all the systems from which you want to extract the data. It's basically range anything from databases, software as a service applications, files, blob storages. We even support stuff like webhooks. We at the moment have more than 300 connectors. As I have mentioned, we are very proud in adding new connectors very fast. And also for some of the systems that are not being covered, we also support what we call generic connectors, which covers JSON-based sources, XML-based sources, CSV sources. This actually, through that, you have the capability of pretty much working with any kind of interfaces. The second big part is our destination. This is essentially where the data are being written. As we are talking today about the BigQuery, about the LODB, about the Cloud SQL, it's important to say that all these platforms are all both as a source and as a destination in our platform. So you can essentially read the data from those platforms, send it somewhere, but also you can essentially write data to those platforms. Pretty much Google BigQuery is fully supported for traditional no use cases, but also for other systems and other platforms, we also, through the reverse ETL capabilities, allows you to send data directly from the BigQuery, from LODB, from Cloud SQL to the different platforms. As I have mentioned, for our reverse ETL capabilities, we are focusing heavily lot on adding the various CRM systems, but as well as building the capability for advertising platforms like Google Ads. This is pretty much the priority for us in this year. And of course, the last thing, this is basically the connection between the source and the destination. It's something what we call a flow. And a flow is essentially something that allows you to connect those things together. What is important to say that we kind of give you the complete end-to-end capabilities of actually joining the things together. So you can have one source sending data to the different destination at the same time. At the same time, you can have one destination that is receiving the data from the different sources. So basically, you can choose the list of all the sources that you have available. You always have the capability of doing some sort of preview. As you can see, I have kind of during the initial talk, I have talked about the data harmonization. So you can see that whenever data are actually coming through our platform, we always make sure that the data types are correct. And once you choose the destination, meaning where you essentially send the data, so in this case, of course, we are talking about the BigQuery. We give you the option of choosing the multiple write mode. So I was talking about the plain insert, which is essentially appending data with every write. We also have the support for the truncate insert, which essentially erase all the data that are in the table and replacing them with the fresh one. But the important part is that we naturally support something which is called upsert. Upsert basically gives you the capability of define what we call as a composite key. Composite key, you can think about it as an index, where we essentially, based on the definition of your composite key, we compute the composite key on the data that are already in the table, the data that are actually incoming to the table, and for the matching values, we do the update. For the non-matching value, we essentially insert the data. So this is a great tool for let's say ensuring that there is not duplicities in your data, or not duplicities existing in your table. We also support a delete mode. So this is good, for instance, when you are having an endpoint or having a source that is containing just the linked records. So this can actually delete the data in your database. And really, the last thing that you need to do when you want to work with the BigQuery, you just choose the database table name, and Dataddo will automatically provision all the schema for you, including data types. So it really super simplifies all the operations that are needed. And the last thing that I wanted to show is our quite unique feature that we call a data quality firewall. It's actually fairly new. And as I have mentioned, you can basically at the column level, you can define the various rules, whether it's containment of the null value, zero values, anomalies. And most importantly, you can select how the platform should behave, whether it's in the blocking mode or whether it's non-blocking mode. Blocking mode means that if such column value is found, thus it's out of the compliance, then the data are not being written. Or you can put it into the transparent mode or non-blocking mode, which means that you will just be notified. So this is let's say the traditional setup with the ETL capabilities. And of course, you are free to choose, any kind of source. So if you want to replicate the data from the Postgres, send it to the BigQuery. So it's really simple like that. But then, of course, if you want to send the data to using the reverse ETL, again, it works, pretty much the same. So I have already prepared here a source that is containing some information from the BigQuery. Again, you can see here data, and I have already predefined the source that I want to send those data into my HubSpot, which is by chance the CRM that we are using. Again, important feature. Even for the reverse ETL, we are also supporting the upsert. The reason why we are supporting the upsert is that typically the CRMs are not the systems that are really designed for database operation, and if something goes wrong, it really gets wrong. So upsert mode is something that can really help you to make sure that you don't build any kind of extra duplicities in your CRM system. And the last thing, when you want to utilize the reverse ETL, each of the different sources, different endpoints, whether it's HubSpot, whether it's Salesforce, whether it's any other system, allows you to do the mapping between what is in the source, what's in the destination. but then you have pretty much the same capabilities when it comes to the actual data quality firewall, but as well as the overall observability. So you can actually see the status of your flows. You have the capabilities of actually overseeing the logs, and last but not least, everything can be exported through the API. And of course, if you want to learn more, there is a free demo, so you can or free trial, so you can fully test it by yourself. Okay, so this was about the quick demo about Dataddo application. And last thing that I would like to share is what is the actual common outcomes when it comes to our mutual customers. So as I have mentioned, our, let's say, overall goal is to make sure that whoever is using the combination of the Google Cloud Platform tools, BigQuery, AlloyDB, or Cloud SQL, together with the Dataddo, by the fact that it's being designed in a way that it's easily accessible and allows the users to actually reduce the overall complexity. So we have a couple of nice case studies where we have actually achieved, together with our customers, together with the Google, to reduce the overall data engineering workload, even by stuff like 70%. With another mutual customer, we allow to together, when they migrating from a different cloud provider to Google, and they have migrating from a different data integration provider, we have managed together to reduce the overall data stack cost by almost 40%. So this bring the almost immediate ROI to their data engineering team, but as well as when it comes to the stuff like traditional data modernization or data stack modernization, because there is a support of this cross technology platform connectivity. This can of course lead to the very significant reduction of the overall cost and workload of the internal team, as as described in a different common case study.
All right, thank you, Peter and Jobin, for those super informative presentations. We're running out of time. So actually there are a couple of questions from the audience, which I would like to field before we call it quits today. The first was asked at the beginning of the webinar by Christina. The question is, actually, I think both of you could maybe comment on this. How often do you see reverse ETL use cases among customers, and how do you see them using it? Want to take that one first?
Good question. Yeah, sure. I can take that, and then Peter can add. It's a good question. This is like I don't want to call it as a very new use case, but we are seeing that adopted by customers more and more. We are not just positioning like in this scenario, right? Like if you look at reverse ETL, it's always like we treat BigQuery, or for that matter any data warehouse, as a target most of the times. But when it comes to reverse ETL, it's like, okay, I have some data sitting in my data warehouse, which is of course in this case BigQuery, but I want to do some analysis on the data, and then extract some sort of information which is critical for my business, and I need to export it to external systems, and then make sure that it is a recurring one. We see that trend of using Google BigQuery as a source, and then players like Dataddo, which comes and makes it very easy to push it to the end applications. It could be a CRM system, it could be like an application which end users would be using, etc. We also have started developing like features like which is going to be available soon. We announced it at Google Cloud Next 2024, where BigQuery would be started as or treated as a source where continuous queries can be executed on the on the platform, and then downstream applications like Salesforce, HubSpot, Google Ads, etc., can or are there any other marketing platform can use this data coming out of BigQuery and then reversing that ETL and pushing it to the application system. For instance, a few years ago, I worked at a company where I was leading their data analytics team, where we had to crunch, a few numbers, create a data set, and then load the results back into Salesforce down the stream for a few use cases which the business team needed. At the time, the reverse ETL term was not known, but we still did it anyway. But Peter, any additional thoughts on the question you would like to add there?
Yeah, for us, let's see, one of the reasons why we have decided to actually step into the world of the reverse ETL and support it as a feature is that we kind of strongly believe that the world of the let's say integration or data integration platforms like us and system integration platforms, guys like Zapier or TIBCO and others, will be more and more converging together. And there is so let's say those typical let's say traditional iPaaS solution, and of course when you are doing the integration on the event basis, this of course has a lot of advantages in a way that it's real time, but at the same time it has a couple of disadvantages because it essentially needs to be synchronous. Which means that the information that you need to transfer is typically isolated to the single event. But in the real life, it's really hard to encapsulate everything into the single event. You typically need to enrich that information, and once you need to enrich the information, you need to first put it into some pool. Which is effectively a BigQuery, where you run some queries that basically enrich the data, and then only then you are essentially ready to dispatch data to the application where you need it to be. So the reasoning behind us that we kind of strongly believe that the cases will appear more and more, and that's why we are building that capability.
Hey, thanks guys for your answers. Do we have time for one more, or shall we wrap it up?
I think we can do the one more if this is okay.
Okay. This is about MS SQL and Looker Studio. I'm having an issue connecting MS SQL Server to Looker Studio. I also tried to do that via Dataddo and it didn't work. Is this a known issue? So I guess that's for you.
I can add the first part because just to do, I think he's trying to connect to Looker Studio. I haven't heard of any known issues where it is having problems, but if you open the console, and within the console, when you choose MS SQL as a source to the Looker Studio dashboard, you have a way to report an issue. You have a button to report an issue if you are having that. It could be simple network issue, but if you are unable to troubleshoot it, please get help by reporting an issue in the page console. I was able I've seen there is a button for you to do that. Please feel free to submit an issue if you're unable to establish connectivity. Peter, over to you.
Yeah, I would say that typically most of such issues are coming from the networking. So it will be probably something about allowing the permissions, network connectivity, perhaps firewall setup on the MS SQL side. So yeah,